Hey everybody, in this video we are going to talk about finding the common ratio or the common difference in a sequence. First, let's talk about how we add and subtract fractions. So I've got two fractions here, 3/5 and 4/5. In order to add fractions or subtract, I have to have a common denominator, which I do. Okay, so I can add these. 3/5 plus 4/5 is 7/5. Remember, we do not actually add the denominator. We take that common denominator and just keep that denominator when we add or subtract fractions. Now, when we multiply fractions or divide, we do not need a common denominator. Here I don't have a common denominator, but that's fine because I'm multiplying. So I'm going to multiply across the top and the bottom. So remember, when we are adding, we need a common denominator, but we just keep that denominator. When we're multiplying, we don't need a common denominator, but we actually do multiply those two denominators. Now that can make a difference when we are finding a common difference or a common ratio. So here I have a sequence 3 5/4, 7 7, and I want to know if I've got a common difference or a common ratio. So if there's a common difference, then it's arithmetic. And term 2 minus term 1 would be the same as term 3 minus term 2. So let's test that. So we have 5/4 minus 3. And then we have 7/7, which is 1, minus 5/4. Those are not the same, so we do not have a common difference. So let's check for a common ratio. 5/4 divided by 3, and then 7/7, which is 1, divided by 5/4, and those are not the same, so we don't have a common ratio either. Now, when that's the case, we'll look at the numerators and denominators separately. So we've got 3/1 here. So do I have a common difference or a common ratio in the numerators and the denominators? So in the numerators, 3, 5, 7, that's going up by 2. So I actually have a common difference of 2 in the numerator. In the denominator, 1, 4, 7, that's going up by 3. So I have a common difference of 3. Okay, so I've got two separate common differences. In the numerator, a difference of 2. In the denominator, a difference of 3. I cannot say I've got a common difference of 2/3. Okay, because when we add fractions, it doesn't quite work like that. Adding a certain number to the top and bottom is not the same as adding that fraction. Okay, so now in number 4, let's skip dividing term 2 by 1 and term 3 by 2 and subtracting term 2 by 1 and term 3 by 2. So we're not going to do it that way. Let's just look at the numerators and denominators again like we did right here. In the numerator here, 3, 15, 75, it looks like I'm multiplying by 5. Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, 15 times 5 is 75. So in the numerator, I've got a common ratio of 5. In the denominator, 1, 4, 16, 1 times 4 is 4, times 4 is 16. So I've got a common ratio of 4 in the denominator. Now, because of the way numbers multiply, I can say, and I should say, the common ratio is 5/4. Okay, so when we are adding in the numerator and in the denominator, we've got two separate common differences. When we are multiplying in the numerator and denominator, that fraction is our common ratio.